I'm starting out with some black cream paint, which I highly suggest for Halloween looks. Super cheap. This cream paint was literally $2.99 at a Halloween store. I'm carving out the shape of the skull mouth on my face, and it's gonna look really messy right now, but we're just getting like a rough sketch of what we want. And then here I'm going in with a dense concealer brush and just really cleaning up the edges with a little bit of foundation. We're starting with the most tedious part of the skull mouth, which is the teeth, and even this isn't even that tedious. Like, this look is really easy. I start in the middle to keep everything as symmetrical as possible, but obviously some things are uneven, but you know, whatever. I just start carving out where the teeth are gonna be with the black, and then I go back over and I fill it in with the white. I did these little like lines at the top of like the skull mouth that I thought were really cool. So I'm just drawing those on, and they kind of like fade into the rest of like the top of the mouth. It sounds really confusing, but you'll see as I'm finished. That's what those lines are at the top there. Like I said before, going in with the black to make the teeth and then filling it in with the white. So same cream paint, just in white, and I'm filling that in. And obviously things get a little bit messy, like sometimes the white will go over the black and cover it. So after I fill in all the teeth, I go back in and outline all the teeth again. This time with the black paint, I'm also kind of rounding out the edges of the teeth. You'll see a little bit, so they don't look as square. They look more like teeth-like. This isn't a super realistic look, but just because, you know, teeth are rounder than they are square. I just did that and rounded out some of the teeth so they didn't look all, you know, SpongeBob SquarePants. The nose is just a typical skull nose. I always, like, I've done a lot of skull looks, so I always start to just try to do the tip of my nose, knowing that my nose shape is, like, not set up for that. So then I go back in and I fill in all of the nose. As you can see, it's kind of patchy, but I go through and I add some more black to it and make the nose look more opaque. Now I'm just taking some white and filling in through those lines I drew at the top of the skull. Now you guys, like, see what I mean. Like, those are what those lines are for. I think they look really cool, even though obviously they're not like accurate. They're not like correct to what a skull would look like. I think it looks super dope. And like I said, this skull is super easy. So the finishing step is just outlining the skull from the bottom in white because it makes it look like more dimensional, more cool, like stick out more. I really like the way it looks with the white outline on the bottom. I'm taking some LA Go Pro Conceal to prime my eyes, and then I'm mixing 2 black shadows, which is a good trick if you're someone who feels like black shadows are never opaque enough. Mix 2 black shadows and I promise everything will work out. I mixed 2 from this e.l.f. Like 86 color eyeshadow palette. I mixed the 2 blacks that were in there and I put that all on my crease and then on the lower lash line and then on my lid. And then I'm rounding out the black shadow around like the brow because that's just like, you know, typical in skull looks. As you can tell, I kind of had the eyeshadow down a little bit lower, and then I realized this needs to be above the crease. I need to take this all the way up into the brow bone to get that really like, you know, like dulled out like skull eye effect. To make sure that the cream paints were acting as best as possible, I one, made sure I shook them up and like mixed them up before just applying them. And 2, I didn't put it on top of any foundation. So now I'm just applying foundation on the areas of my skin that are exposed, because why waste foundation under, you know, cream paint when nobody's gonna see it and risk maybe the cream paint acting funny on top of the formula of the foundation. And then after I'm done applying foundation to the areas that are exposed, I'm taking a black liner and lining my waterline and my eye line up top. I'm taking a Wet n Wild concealer way paler than my skin tone and applying some highlighter. I didn't have on any other face makeup except for foundation and highlight. I just didn't feel like the look needed all of that just because the mouth was so much, and you know, I just made sure I included the eyes and the nose, and it's like I'm not gonna do all the crazy highlighting contouring. So just highlighted my nose, my cheekbones, and my forehead, and that was that for face makeup. That is literally it. That is the finished look. That's all it takes to get this skull. It was super easy and such a creative relief to do this because I feel like my looks always come out the best when I just like need a release. So yeah, this look definitely could have been perfected, but you know, I just felt like painting on my face, doing a skull look because it's the season for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you recreate it, you can send me pictures. My Instagram is at NyraDelRey, and it will also be in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Happy Halloween!
Squad going up, nobody flipping packs now. I just did 3 in a row. Them shows is back to back to back now. Put the world on a sound. You know, party in the weekend.